Hello and welcome to our video tutorial. Today we are going to be drawing an abstract and very colorful henna design. Let's first talk a little bit about what henna is. So henna is a dye, it's also called mendi, and it comes from the henna tree. This dye is used to make temporary body art. It can also be used on the hair, fingernails, or even fabrics to dye them. So what you do is you take the dye and you put it in a tube and you squirt it out and make a very cool design. When it dries, you peel it off and you're left with a temporary design, kind of like a temporary tattoo. Henna is used all over the world, especially in places like the Middle East, India, Nepal, and even Northern Africa. For our project today, we won't be using henna on our bodies. Instead, we're going to be making an abstract design based off of the henna designs. So what we'll need for this lesson is a sheet of small paper. This is a piece of paper that is 9 by 12 cut in half. We want it to be relatively small, but it needs to be big enough to fit your hand in the middle of the page. We'll also need a pencil and eraser, some colorful markers, and a black Sharpie. For our very first step, we're going to use our pencil to draw. You'll take one hand, use your non-dominant hand. So whichever hand you usually use to write with your pencil, hold your pencil with that hand, and take your other hand and place it in the center of your page. If you place your hand a little bit too low down like this, then you won't get your whole hand on the page. Same thing if you place your hand too high, your fingers will hang off the edge there. So make sure when you place your hand on the page, it goes about right in the middle there. Then you can take your other hand with your pencil and use it to trace around the edge of your hand like this. Then when you remove your hand, you'll have a perfect shape of your hand imprinted on your page. Next, I'm going to draw about 5 or so lines inside the hand here. I'm just going to draw these lines to break up the hand into different shapes. I want there to be several different sections. What we're going to do later is color these different sections in with different colors and patterns. So I'm just going to break my hand up into a couple different sections here like that. Next, I'm going to use my black Sharpie to trace along the lines that I've drawn so far. Remember, since this is a permanent marker, be careful with your drawing, and you may even want to take another piece of paper and slip it underneath so that we don't get any permanent marker on the table we are working on. Now that I have my hand outlined with the black marker, I'm going to use my colorful markers to color it in. In each different section I have on my hand, I'm going to choose one color, and I'm going to color a certain kind of shape or design inside that section. This way, each section will have a different color and a different design. So I'll start with one section. I'll start with my smallest one to start. For this one, I'm going to draw with blue, and I think I'm going to make some triangle shapes. I'll keep coloring like this until I fill in the whole section. Now that I have one section done, I'm going to continue to fill in the rest of the sections with different designs and different colors. We're going to try and make this hand look really bright and colorful, and try and use lots of different shapes and patterns. You could do polka dots, swirls, zigzags, stripes, any kind of design you like. Now that I've finished coloring in the inside of the hand, I'm going to draw about 5 more lines. This time, I'm going to draw them outside of the hand. For this part, you can start again with your pencil and then trace over those lines with your Sharpie. Once you have the lines dividing up the outside part into different sections, we're going to fill them in using patterns. Just like what we did with the inside of the hand, each section will have a different pattern inside of it. But we're going to use just the black marker to do that. This lesson is all about creating contrast. Contrast means creating differences in your project to bring attention to certain areas or to create excitement in your design. There's lots of different ways you can create contrast in art. You can use it by creating contrast between colors, like using light and dark colors. You can make contrast by using different sizes, like big versus small. You can even create contrast by using different textures, like rough versus smooth textures. In ours, to create contrast, we're going to use color inside the hand and black and white outside the hand. So even though our whole project is going to be filled with lots of different patterns, because we use contrast with our colors inside versus black and white outside, we'll still be able to very clearly see the handprint in the middle of the page. So I'm going to go and fill in my sections one by one with a different kind of design or pattern. And since we're doing this part with the black marker, it's okay if you repeat some of the same patterns you used in your hand on the outside part. But we also want to make sure to include some new ones for the outside as well to keep it looking interesting. Once you finish coloring the patterns on the outside with your black marker, we are all the way done with this project. You can see that even though there's lots of patterns on this page and it looks very busy, our eye still goes right to the hand in the middle first because we used colors on that part, and so it stands out against our background. All right, thank you so much for joining us for our lesson today. If you have any questions about our programming, you can check us out at crimsoncanvasarts.com. Thank you.